be prepping the 3000GT VR4 for its first track day over at Streets of Willow. Like I previously mentioned, I did want to go ahead and upgrade its injectors due to it already having two faulty injectors. Once these things start getting old, the probability of them just failing over time is way more likely versus if they were brand new. So it's always better just to go ahead and get yourself a new set. I did go ahead and get myself some 750cc high Z injectors from Alpha Injection Clinic, and I also went ahead and got a fuel filter that we're going to be replacing. Now if you do get the high Z injectors, you are going to need to get yourself a resistor, which I got from Own Racing, and this basically allows the high Z injectors to pulse accordingly to how the 3000 GT is supposed to. Not only that, you're also going to have to go ahead and flash the car for the bigger injectors. I did go ahead and buy the Chrome license, which is available for all the 3S guys. Now the 98 and 99 3000 GT VR4 has the flashable ECU. All you need to get is get the Chrome license, which I think is $25. You have to get the Tatrix cable, and you have to have a laptop that allows you to run the program and upload the files to the car. So I'm gonna make this more into a tutorial style video, just in case you've never installed some injectors in the car. If you're a first time viewer, I do wanna make sure that this is as educational as possible. So if you've done this already, just bear with us. I do wanna flash this thing and hopefully at least get some more power out of it. Anyways, this should allow us to have a much safer setup for the car, just having new fuel system components. We already do have the fuel pump in the back replaced, and once we replace the fuel filter and the injectors, I just feel like the car should be running up to spec. So let's go ahead and start with the injectors initially. It's probably the easiest thing to do. There's a 12 here, there's a 12 right here. You have two 10s on the line here, and there's two more 10s on this line. It's a very tight spot, be careful. I did drop one of the 10s into the abyss, and once it's down there, they're pretty much gone. So now be careful, because if you guys can see right here, both of the 12s have a little spacer in between the fuel rail and the head, so make sure you don't drop these. Take them out carefully. Boom. But I went ahead and popped out the fuel rail. As you guys can see, the injector pops into the fuel rail right through here. So over time, I do know these O-rings tend to give out, and you are gonna have to go ahead and pop off the clips to take off the OEM injector, and you're pretty much gonna have to put everything back in reverse order. So it shouldn't be too hard. The front isn't too complex. For the rear injectors, you are going to have to remove the rear plenum just to have more access to the rear fuel rail. Yeah. So here's a side-by-side comparison of the OEM 3000 GT injector and the Alpha Injection 750cc. You should be replacing all the O-rings just because they tend to leak, and that could lead to a vacuum leak, boost leak, etc. You want to go ahead and make sure that all of the O-rings that are on the intake manifold are removed. This one was still stuck on the intake manifold earlier. Now we're going to go ahead and install the first three injectors. The way I'm going to do it is plug them in initially to the harness, clip them on with these retainers, and then we're going to go ahead and insert them into the fuel rail and then start plugging everything back in. So I'll put you guys on the time lapse and let's see how they look. went ahead and finished installing the front 3 injectors. Now this is the easy side, just due to the fact that you have to remove the intake manifold or plenum on the 3000 GT to get to the rear fuel rail. So to take off the plenum, in case you've never done it, bolt right here, bolt right here, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, one right there, one right there. Take off the intake, the intercooler piping right there. Go ahead and remove the throttle body cable here, and I think that's it. But let me double check. I'm going to take it off. One thing I hate about just working on this car is if you lose a bolt, it's gone. And I've already lost like 3 different bolts in the span of like the last 10 minutes. So always have a magnet so that you can hopefully recover most of your bolts and nuts that just fall into the abyss like this one. Do you think it's easier to work on the GTR versus the VR4, or
some aspects?
Some aspects? Like in what way? Like what do you think?
Injectors, everything's
in one location, right?
in your face. Yep.
Right. So I just pulled the intake manifold upwards. I should have access to the rear 3 injectors. Again, it's the same thing. The 212s up top. You have the 210s on both sides. You have the pins, and you should be able to pop them right out. So it shouldn't be too hard. I'm gonna take care of it. I also ended up ripping off the wires to this thing, so if you guys know what this is for, let me know. But these things were just super brittle, and they ended up just coming off. So these are low Z injectors from factory. When you jump over to the high impedance injectors, you are going to have to get this resistor pack. So this is kind of a plug that Evo and DSM guys use. This basically lets you run a high Z injector without any issues. You simply remove the resistor box, plug in the Ohm AC resistor box delete plug, and you should be able to run the high Z injectors. So this is just a quick and easy fix. They're pretty cheap. I'll go ahead and link down at the Ohm Racing pack and the alpha injection injectors as well, with a discount code for you guys if you guys want to get the same thing as me. This is the box that you're going to be working with. The resistor, they might have sent me the wrong plug. They're not the same size and it doesn't fit. So we're going to have to do it the old school way and basically just cut and splice. So expose the wires and put them all together like that?
Yeah.
Essentially it's the same thing. That makes sense.
It's not the prettiest way,
But it works.
but it definitely works.
Yeah. Boom. Is you bring this back over here and you plug it in back into your OEM harness, which essentially cleans up your engine bay a little bit because you're getting rid of the resistor up here by the firewall. Just go ahead and tuck it in somewhere, and the high C injectors should be working. The only issue is I'm most likely gonna have to end up getting a stainless steel line running from the front of the fuel rail and going all the way down to where the banjo bolt is. So unfortunately I don't have the correct fitting to fit this with the stock line, so I won't be able to run it. But essentially, as you guys can see, it sits like this, stock location. This gets connected to the hose on the bottom, and then this fitting is going to have a stainless steel line that's going to run to the front of the fuel rail. Unfortunately, we don't have the time for it now, so this will be an install for later, but it's a must-have upgrade as I currently have the AutoZone or O'Reilly's fuel filter on there. So I'd much rather have this. This is safe for E85. and bad news. Bad news is this Tatrix cable needs another additional plug here that connects it to your computer. So I won't be able to even touch the car without that cable, so Aaron's gonna go home and get one, and it should be ready for a track day. So I'm pretty excited. Unfortunately, we weren't able to flash it and install the fuel filter, but that will come in the near future as well. If you guys are interested in the injectors or the fuel filter for yourself, I will link it down in the description as well for you guys. Otherwise, I'll keep you guys updated. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.